The plank groans underfoot, a thin sound that tells you the whole story. Who walked here last, how long the last repair held, and whether the next rain will erase it. Water hisses at the supports. A distant rooster answers from a yard on the far bank, and someone somewhere is already loosening a wedge with a hammer. When a bridge appears in a village or a city lane, who decided it should be there, and who keeps it alive? Today, let's walk those narrow places together.
Welcome to Ancient Echoes, where we listen for the small things that hold communities together. I'm Samnang Bradley. In this episode, Bridges of Way, we'll follow bamboo planks, patched causeways, and low concrete spans to find the social life behind the crossings, the labor, the bargaining, the seasonal urgencies, and the memories migrants carry abroad. Before we begin, I will talk about places and people with respect. If you're out doing fieldwork or photography, please use consent-first language and the short Khmer and English phrases I'll share later.
First, a plain primer. There are a few common kinds of small crossings you'll see across Cambodia and in Khmer communities abroad. A single bamboo plank lashed between posts, a tied footbridge of woven bamboo and rope, a raised earthen causeway patched with rock and clay, and small concrete spans placed where long-term access is needed. Material choice is never just about what's cheap. Bamboo is flexible and fast to replace. Concrete lasts but needs money and skilled labor, and repurposed metal can be both ingenious and fragile. The history and meaning of each crossing live in the materials that made it and the people who maintain it.
Picture a dawn repair crew. It's still cool, mist over the canal. An elder with a small hammer checks the lashings. A young woman tightens a rope while laughing about last month's market schedule. Someone carries a spare plank on their shoulder. Another brings a kettle of boiled water. In many places, these tasks are organized by lineage, by neighbor reciprocity, or by barter. Rice for nails, a day's labor for a bit of metal. Skills pass sideways across generations. A child watches, copies a knot, learns to listen for the way a bamboo plank flexes when a person steps. That listening is part skill, part care.
But bridges are also caught up in seasonal politics. When the monsoon swells the rivers, decisions must be made. Which market route gets fixed first? Which school path will be patched before the children walk? Ritual processions, rice harvests, and market days rearrange priorities. Sometimes a causeway that serves a large and vocal group receives materials faster than the smaller hamlet downriver. Those choices create stories, and sometimes disputes, about fairness, about visibility, about whose need is recognized. Understanding these rhythms helps us see crossings as social technology, not only timber and concrete.
So, who pays? And how does maintenance actually work? Often, maintenance economies are local mosaics. Households take turns contributing labor. A small fund of remittance money pays for a concrete span. A local temple or market association buys nails and rope. Tool benches, places where a spare hammer or wedges live, are community commons. Important note, I won't give step-by-step construction instructions on air. Repairs can be dangerous. If you're listening and want to help, offer funds or materials through trusted community contacts or ask to be connected by a local host. Do not join repair work uninvited or without proper protection.
Across seas and continents, migrants often carry crossings in memory. I've spoken with families who recreate the feel of a bamboo plank in a backyard, not to rebuild infrastructure, but to remember a route, the precise step where the plank creaked, the spot where children would sit and dangle feet while waiting for a boat. For many in the diaspora, a missing crossing becomes a missing piece of belonging. Recreating a small span in a new place is an act of memory-making, a way to say, this is where we once crossed, and here is where that practice lives on in us.
Ethics and consent matter in how we record and share these crossings. Here are two short modeled phrases you can use. In Khmer,
Som anunyat, dauknyom at suabante, piepsovatapip, golbomnong. Say it slowly and respectfully if you can. In English, may I ask, and with permission, photograph this bridge briefly and credit your crew. Always wait for an explicit yes. If someone prefers no photos, respect that boundary. If they say yes, ask how they want to be credited. Before you post a photo publicly, we will vet submissions sent to the show, so we do not expose fragile crossings to uninvited visitors.
A few practical safety reminders. Do not attempt repairs without a local invited host and appropriate personal protective equipment. Avoid giving specific construction instructions in public forums. And if you want to help, consider contributing to a local materials fund or contacting community leaders listed in the episode notes. If you photograph a bridge, limit location details, get permission, and avoid posting exact coordinates for fragile or privately maintained crossings.
Before we close, listen to this small scene. A teacher arriving at a schoolyard 2 minutes earlier because the new footbridge shortened the route. Children comparing the new plank sound to the old one. An aunt repairing a lone loose nail while telling a story about why she was tasked with keeping the spare wedges. These are the rhythms that make mobility possible: labor, negotiation, routine, and care. The deeper story is how these crossings hold social ties together, how they are an expression of neighborliness and obligation.
If this episode stuck with you, here's a small request. If you have one modest, permissioned photograph or a short memory of a bridge, a sentence or two about crossing, repairing, or remembering, please send it to us or post it on social and tag Ancient Echoes and Samnang's YouTube. We'll vet submissions before sharing, and we will always respect requests for privacy. Share one image, one sentence, one act of remembering. That's how we build a map of practices without exposing fragile places.
Thank you for walking these narrow places with me. Take care on whatever crossings you encounter this week, literal and otherwise. Let us remember, small bridges are not just ways across water. They are ways of belonging, of care, of mutual responsibility. Let's unlock the echoes of history together.
In the quiet of night, I whispered my plea, holding her close, hoping for her decree. I called upon spirits, asked them to guide, to take her heart and lead her by my side. So I drew her near, traced her brow so fair, my sight this way. Sacred power, swai, mighty spirit awakened. By the master's right, let her heart be gently taken. Let her follow me now by vow and by sign. I hear these words, oh teacher, witness this plea. Oh, my sacred power, swai. Oh, oh, oh.